I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. I am that dude, Bodkins, as always. It is Thursday night. Welcome. We are 2 days away from opening round of the playoffs. We're going to talk about all the playoff brackets. And then we're also going to talk about tonight the firings, who's going where, who's the best fit, what each organization should do. We're also going to talk about the Bears getting the number one pick, Fields getting shipped out, all the smoke screens. We got to talk about it all. And, of course, to break it down, talking about it all the business and goings, my main man, Johnny Cruz, my Puerto Rican brother. Johnny, what's up, man? Dolphins are in, but beep, beep, beep. Hey, that's the backing into the playoffs. Yeah. Skylar Thompson is going to be, Dan Marino, I don't know, is it Jay Feely, the last quarterback to start for the Dolphins, and now Skylar Thompson is now the your starting quarterback. Got to feel real great about that one.
Yeah, feel awesome about that one. Yeah, talk about a drop off there. But no, I mentioned that shit last night. That we you know what I'm saying, we're crawling in on our bellies just trying to make it in there, but we got in there. You know what I'm saying, and like I was telling Dolphin fans, stop acting like we get there every year. You know what I'm saying? So stop taking this for granted. You know what I'm saying? We made it to the playoffs. No matter how we got there, we're in. We're not gonna win the game. So you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, unless it's some miraculous upset. But you know, we're in the playoffs, so enjoy another week, a little experience for the young players and for the coach who needs it. So I'll take it, man.
Hey, my team missed the playoffs, but at least we were one game away. One guy's team couldn't even hit the playoffs. They're so far away from the playoffs. They're talking about trading their franchise quarterback, maybe. They do have the number one pick. Lovie Smith helped Chicago actually one more last time. Joining us as always, my brother from another mother, Craig with a K. Craig, what's up, my man?
What's up, fellas? I feel like I need the meme of the old Colts coach. Playoffs?
That's one of the best. That's one of the best moments in NFL history, right there, man. I remember seeing that shit live. That's how old I am, bro.
Yeah. Let's go. We'll start there, right there with the Bears. What's your take here? Lovey helps you guys out one last time. The Texans get the win. As Lovey knows he was going to get fired and said, F it. You guys want the number one pick? You ain't having. I'm going to help out, the Chicago Bears one last time. Bears have the number one pick. What's your thoughts here on what the Bears should do, their best case scenario? If you were the GM, what would you do?
I would try to trade back. If you can get something or somebody to, give you the haul for that number one pick, I think that's kind of where I would start. I know you mentioned it kind of coming into the segment that there's rumors and people talking about trading Justin Fields, but to me, that's nonsense. I watched the press conference with Ryan Poles. It sounds like there's 99.9% chance that Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback going into next season. Everything he said is just talking about Justin Fields, going into next year. So it sounds to me like that's just more of a media-driven thought that people think that the Bears should do. Personally, I don't agree with it.
I do too. To me, Justin Fields right now is the very best quarterback the Bears have ever had. The best quarterback they've ever had. I sent the meme in our group chat, Peter Griffin. You don't know what the number one pick could be. It could be Justin Fields, and they already have Justin Fields in the mystery box. Johnny, do you think this is just smoke screens as well? Like the media heads just got to have something to talk about. No way in hell they can trade Justin Fields, right?
I don't think there's anybody in this draft that's better than Justin Fields right now. So I think it's in the Bears' best interest to make it seem like there's a possibility that they might do that just to kind of drive the price up and actually get somebody to jump Houston to get that number 1 pick. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, nobody's going to want to go up there if they know for a fact, all right, well, the Bears ain't taking a quarterback, so we just got to worry about Houston. And if there's so much love for C.J. Stroud as there is for Bryce, then, you know, I don't even know who would be at 3 right now. I haven't even paid attention to it, but that's just smart business for the Bears to make it seem like they might entertain the thought of trading Justin Fields. They ain't trading that man, bro. You know what I'm saying? If he keeps on working on his development in the pocket, man, he's gonna run that division for a very long time, bro. The physical talents on that kid is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, I think the kid's a stud. Craig, let me ask you this: how far would you trade back? So you're looking at the Bears don't need a quarterback. Texans, if you're gonna trade back, probably with a team with the Texans, right? They need a quarterback, so you got to jump them. Arizona's at 3; they need a quarterback. Indy at 4 needs a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're looking at
that's the team that a lot of people are saying, like, look out for. The Bears falling back to 4 and Indy trading up to 1.
I mean, you get a great player and you're gonna get a haul for that, bro. So you know what I'm saying?
I've seen mocks and people talking about, you know, the Bears getting a haul for that number 1 pick and falling back to 4 and getting the Colts pick, and then potentially, you know, if there's
Trading
a quarterback on the board, trading back, you know, with Carolina or somebody back to 7 or 9.
Yeah. So how far would you trade back? Like, what's the minimum of a team for you where you're like, I don't want to trade back any further outside of blank?
I think it depends on the package that you get, you know. I mean, the more that you're getting, kind of the more you're willing to fall back, I think.
Especially if you've already got your quarterback, bro.
Yeah,
if you already got your quarterback, get as many picks as possible, man.
I think ideally if the Bears if they can fall back and stay in the top 10 and then also get that team's 2nd-round pick to kind of make up for the pick that they traded for Chase Claypool, I think that's probably where they will start.
I think if you're the package deal to me, ideally, if I'm the Bears, I'm looking at 3 1s and possibly 2 2s is my asking price off the start, maybe even 4 1s.
Well, and they're saying that the Eberflus Indy connection, that there's some guys on Indy that he's pretty fond of, that Indy might be able to swing a deal, giving up less 1st-round picks, like maybe a swap this year and give up next year's if they send some players over too. And there's been talks of Quentin Nelson. I think if you're Indy and you're looking at drafting a quarterback, it's crazy to think about shopping Quentin Nelson, but also as a Bears fan, I'm all on board with that.
Hell yeah, you take him.
Yeah, you'll take.
Give me Quentin Nelson protecting Justin Fields any day of the week, you know.
Yeah, one of the best guards, and if the best guard, if not one of the best guards in all of football.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. If they can get a good player or two, then you can lay off, because again, like we just said, you can do that package with Indianapolis, and then go back again with somebody else, get a few more picks, and you got yourself a stud offensive lineman and whatever else you can get out from Indy, and still move back, still get a good player, have a bunch of draft picks. Like I said, you have your quarterback, so that's the key. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just putting players around them, so the more picks, the better.
And we need a pass rush, and I mean the top 2 guys, pass rushers in the draft. If the Bears were to trade back with Indy and Indy were to take a quarterback, odds are a quarterback's going to go in one of the next 2 picks, and the Bears would pretty much have one of those defenders fall to them anyway at 4. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the only team I would be scared of if the Bears' price is too high is Arizona dropping back, because they do have their quarterback and they're at 3. We know Kyler's probably not playing next year, but they're not going to go ahead and they're not going to draft his replacement. They could go out and maybe get a 1-year rental and who we'll talk about the coaching changes here in just a second, but they're at 3. You got Indy at 4, who needs a quarterback. Seattle, possibly a quarterback. Geno's played good, but he's kind of up there. He's got, free. He is a free agent. Detroit at 6 What do they do with? I think they should keep Goff and keep it going. Then you got the Raiders. They need a quarterback. That's a team that could trade up. Then you got Atlanta at 8. They don't really need a. They're going to stick with Desmond Ridder.
I think for now.
Yeah, there's not that many. I mean, it depends on what people are thinking about Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying? Is he that much better than everybody else? You know what I'm saying? So I don't. Like I said, there's definitely not a better quarterback in this draft than Justin Fields. So that like I said, that's all.
I
that's
agree
all
with
smoke
you.
And shit like that. But how many quarterbacks should? I mean, then again, quarterbacks are always overpriced anyway. But how many quarterbacks are going to go in the top few picks? Maybe 2. Like besides Bryce and the CJ Stroud kid from Ohio State.
And they're starting to hype up the kid from Kentucky.
Will Levis.
Well, they always find the couple, the Zach Wilson that they throw up there or whatever.
Mel Kiper decides to throw up there, you know.
Yeah. So Tanner's chiming in here, and he said 3 in the top 10. I kind of agree with that. If you look at the top 10 to kind of grade out, the Raiders at 7, Atlanta at 8, Carolina at 9, they need a quarterback, and then the Eagles at 10, and they could very easily trade back as well.
But so if 6 of those 10 teams need a quarterback, that's a good thing for the Chicago if there's only 3 available.
Right.
If there's only 3 going in the top 10, then.
Yeah. Where do you guys rank Stetson Bennett? I know he's like 80 years old and coming out, but where do you think he goes? Is he going in the first or second, or you think maybe day 3 later?
I'm not a big fan. I don't know about Craig.
To me, he's just one of those guys that he's a very good college quarterback, man, right. and that's what we're gonna know him as.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a pro style quarterback. I just don't think Stetson Bennett is going to succeed at the NFL level.
Yeah,
I agree, man. He reminds me of Ken Dorsey.
That's what Johnny. That's exactly what I was going to say. Ken Dorsey, AJ McCarron type,
right.
Those type of guys that were really good. College quarterbacks on some really, really good teams.
Right. Let's not pretend like he hasn't been surrounded by a lot of talent.
Right. Yeah. So Alan says Bears have the most cap space of any team, so they do have a lot of options. They could trade for some offensive, some of those offensive linemen, like Craig said as well. Tanner said he's Brandon Weeden 2.0. Hey, the Weed Man went in 2. The Browns took him in the first round.
Of course they did. It's the Browns.
The Browns took a lot of guys in the first round. Browns took a lot of quarterbacks in the first round.
Right.
They won't be taking one this year.
Yeah, between the cap space and what you guys can get in this draft, as far as picks, and if you hit on a few of those picks, like you have a chance this next year to take a big jump, man. If Justin Fields takes that jump, you're gonna have a lot of young talent around him. So if the coaching is straight, man, that'd be good.
They'll find out pretty quick about Ryan Poles. He's got a lot. A lot to work with right now. So if he's a good GM, then the Bears should be sitting pretty good here.
Yeah.
Alan says 4 QBs are projected in the first round: Bryce Young, CJ, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. If the Jets take Anthony Richardson, they're taking another project. I don't think they take Anthony Richardson. The kid is, he is a Lamar-esque 2.0, but he's just all talent. Johnny, he's that Florida kid. I don't know how much you've seen him.
No, I've watched him. My wifey's a Gator, so I've watched some of the Gator games. He's a hell of an athlete. He's got a great arm. You know what I'm saying? He might be slightly better at in the pocket than Lamar as far as like just his accuracy and stuff like that. But Lamar won a Heisman in college.
Yeah,
so Lamar was a good quarterback in college. They just Greg Roman in that offense just wanted to use his legs more instead of trying to develop him as a passer. So, I actually like Anthony Richardson. New York Jets. That's where quarterbacks go to die, man. So I hope he don't get drafted there, man.
I think he needs to go to a team that's got a vet already, and then he he needs some time to develop.
Yep.
I think if the Jets were to make that pick, it's not is that a plug and play?
No,
the Jets are going to go get a quarterback in free agency, right?
I think the Jets are a win now mode. They can win now.
That defense, yep.
He's not a plug and play. Go win with. And that's what they have.
Right.
Alan's chiming in here and said Packers are projected to. Yeah, we all know that ain't happening, Alan. We'll talk about the Packers here in a minute. They're not taking a wide receiver. I don't even give my hopes up. They'll probably take another defensive player that we've had the last 10 drafts.
To be fair to his point, they probably are projected, but they've been projected to take a wide receiver in the first round about the last 8 years.
Yeah, I was about to say like 10 years in a row.
Why do they even make the projections? So everybody should know if you're filling out your sheet, hey, they ain't taking one. They need one, but they ain't taking one.
Right.
So they
where would be a good spot for Richardson if he was going to sit behind somebody for a few years? Like, not for nothing, that would be a smart move for Philly to do, because they got 2 first-round picks. I'm just saying, hear me out. They draft him, develop him for a year or two, and then you trade that kid. What?
No.
Yes, I'm telling
you don't waste a first-round pick on a guy you're going to trade and you win it now. You need somebody that can add talent to your team right away and can play right away when you're in a win now mode. I would look at. I don't know who's an older quarterback that's out there that's got, that they, to be that guy next. You know what I'm saying? Really, it's not a lot.
Like who?
That's what I'm asking too.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There aren't that many.
There's not. Right?
You're either hella old and about to leave like Brady and stuff like that.
The Saints, maybe. If they're going to run it back with Andy Dalton, and then they don't have a first-round pick. Seattle, Seattle would be the perfect place, actually. Yeah. If they re-sign Geno to a 2-year deal, and then you draft Richardson to replace him, that would work perfect with Pete Carroll and everything else. That's probably their best bet. Allen said he'll take him behind Dak for a couple years. Then if they can't make the playoffs,
maybe Denver.
Yeah.
Denver, are they going? They don't even have a first-round pick.
That's true.
If he goes to the second round, that would be too bad, because who knows what kind of Russ Wilson you're going to get.
Talk about disappointment, man. I'm still trying to get over that, man. I thought they were going to compete for the division, bro. For real, with Russ.
Well, everybody did. Everybody had him at least making the playoffs, or almost making them, at the very minimum, maybe missed the playoffs by a game. Nobody had saw what happened to that team happen. I think them and the Colts, to me, are the most disappointing teams in all of football.
Yeah, definitely. The Dallas one that's not a bad idea for Dallas, and that's some shit that Jerry Jones would do too.
Yeah, Alan's saying a guy like Hendon Hooker. I don't know in the round 2 if Hendon Hooker will go in the round 2. He's coming off the ACL tear. I think he's probably going in the 3rd round, because you're going to have to. He's another guy that you could develop. It really, back to Richardson, really, if they hadn't took Malik Willis last year, that would be a good fit if they were going to bring back Tannehill. But who knows what they do with their quarterback situation.
That's what I'm saying. There ain't that many, you know what I'm saying? The only one that people are really, really hyping on is Bryce Young.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Right,
or what about a Hogan kid from TCU? Is he coming out? He's a senior.
Is he a senior?
I think so.
I don't know.
I get that, but again, see, we're you know what I'm saying, we're digging deep to try to find some quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. There's not that many coming out this year.
A team that could take a gamble on Richardson at 16 would be the Commanders, or you could even see if one of those guys, maybe Will Levis falls there at 16. I'm just not too sure, but Howell didn't play too bad in his lone start. Alan chiming in here.
Alan with all the info, boy. He's got all the info.
Y'all gonna stay in at TCU. Well, they're gonna have to find him because Georgia buried his ass at SoFi Stadium. Before we get into the firing, I'll go ahead, Craig. I mean, I put my thoughts out on Sunday on Johnny and Rob's show. We got to talk Packers, Aaron Rodgers. Craig, I'll let you go first. You get the last laugh here. What's your thoughts here on the Packers missing the playoffs? Which I buried that team. I thought they was alive. I had a lot of hope going into Sunday. What's your thoughts here on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers?
First of all, I mean, as somebody that's been watching and a rival of Green Bay for the majority of my life, I was surprised they lost that game, man, to the Lions at Lambeau. That's just not a game that Green Bay loses, you know. But I mean, I told you, you buried your team too early, man. So the football gods, like, they just couldn't let you get in the playoffs. Man. There's some justice in there, I guess. But I don't know, man.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
My initial reaction, and I mean, I messaged it to you. We were kind of texting back and forth, like, this is the first time to me that it actually felt like this might be it for Aaron Rodgers. Just the way that he kind of acted at the end of the game, the way he was like just kind of slowly walking around, looking at Lambeau, you know, put his arm around Cobb and walk down the tunnel with him. Like, I don't know, man. Like all these last couple of years, all these rumors and all these talks about Aaron Rodgers, I've always just kind of felt like, and we still got, as a Bears fan, we still got to deal with that dude. He ain't going nowhere. And this is the first time that I kind of feel like, man, if Rodgers comes out, you know, on Pat McAfee here in a couple weeks and just says he's hanging it up, like, I won't be surprised. I feel like last year I would have been surprised.
Johnny, what's your thoughts there on Rodgers and the Packers on Sunday?
I agree with Craig on that one, man. Like, it just, like, you want to say that he ain't gonna want to go out like that, losing to the Lions at home to miss a playoff spot, but he's just a different cat. So I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, he's got plenty of money, you know what I'm saying, and he's gonna, you know, there'll be something for him to do after football if he wants to be on TV.
I don't think he does, though. I don't think
he'll just chill with,
not anymore.
He'll just chill with Pat McAfee, you know what I'm saying,
right,
once a week and keep doing that shit and just stay kind of involved as far as that. Like, I think it's really possible, man. Like, I don't know, man. I wasn't expecting you guys to lose that game, man, for real. I was expecting you guys to be in the playoffs and see what happens, man. So I'm still a little stunned by that shit, for real.
And Nick, you sent that deal to me with like Rodgers and Favre's last, like, however many throws, and it was like the exact same stats. Man, it's just weird how things like that work out. Like, that's another thing that, like, it just makes me like, shoot, if it really is like that, man, he's just probably not coming back. Like, that's how it ends, right? That's too, like, perfect of it to not. I don't know.
Yeah, I got that stat. I actually posted it somewhere on my Facebook.
Do you think your franchise wants to move on, Nick?
No. I don't think so. I think they've all said they want Aaron to come back.
You're still better when
they're gonna say that, but like,
you're still
really,
better.
Really.
He did not have his best year, and we needed him to play at elite level at all times. And I get at 39, it's hard to do that, and he didn't quite play at elite level. I mean, that safety should have had 3 interceptions that game, and he got 2. You know what I mean? He should have had about 2 more, really. It was just –
I was messaging you that day and said, I mean, Rodgers can't see that dude out there. I guess because it was – I mean, every one of those passes, Rodgers – I mean, his dude was wide open, and then the safety just comes out and fixes it, you know.
For whatever reason – you know, so that stat you were talking about in Brett Favre's final 6 passes as a Packer, he went 2 for 6 for 12 yards, including game-sealing, season-ending NIT at Lambeau Field, which was that was the game, the NFC Championship game. They lost to the Giants. Giants went on to win the Super Bowl. In Aaron Rodgers' final 6 passes this year, he went 2 for 6, 12 yards, including a game-sealing season-ending interception at Lambeau Field to the Lions. So,
that's
You know,
That's one of them. That's one of them weird, creepy type. Like I can't believe that's like exact types. That's
Right.
right?
So that's just one of those things that makes me feel like it
man.
doesn't have to end. Right? It's too like creepy similar.
I'm gonna be sad, man. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I ain't gonna front. I've told you that. You'll say the same way you feel about Joe Burrow. I love Aaron Rodgers, man. It was so much fun to watch, bro. For real.
He is. It's been the best. He's way. I mean, you know how it is when you're a kid. You love your first love, right? Brett Favre was like my first love. I loved Brett Favre just the way he played the game. But Aaron Rodgers was a 10 times better quarterback than Brett Favre. It was, and just smarter. They're two kind of different type of players. I'm glad I was younger when watching Brett Favre because like I knew like I'd probably die of a heart attack if I watched him now. Like now I know why my dad chain smoked all the time because like Brett would just throw you 50-50 balls every game. And I think at 35 years old, I don't know if I could live with that. If I would have, I don't even smoke, but I'd probably become a chain smoker watching Brett Favre. So James Allen said this, and this is what kind of alluded to my original thought, my original drunken stupor was that maybe Aaron was done because about the jersey swap and Rodgers wanted to keep it. I think that was, and I still think he's done almost, but then he was going to be on Pat on Tuesday, and Pat said, well, he's meeting with the Packers today and tomorrow on Tuesday and Wednesday to have their end of the year meetings. So maybe he's going to come back. I don't know. But I do think that was Randall Cobb's last game. So I think maybe that's why he wanted to keep the jersey because maybe we're thinking too much into Aaron and them holding hands as in that's Aaron's last game when I really think that was Randall's last game. He's a free agent. He's probably done. He got this last, he ain't got much left in the tank. Maybe that was his last game, nor so much Aaron's last game, but it could be. If, like Craig said, if Aaron comes on Pat on next Tuesday and says, yeah, I'm retiring, then, I wouldn't be surprised. And then he just goes off into the, nowhere and just does ayahuasca and just, lives in the trees and plants and we never hear from him again. Like, that's just who I think he is. You're going to have to go to Africa or South America to find him, where
some jungle somewhere,
some jungle where he's just high on peyote. That's what I think it could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. Or he comes back and he plays one more year because he doesn't want to end this year that way. Does he want to go? He
could be waiting to see what the Packers do as far as the team around him.
Well,
What are you guys gonna do to give us a chance to honestly win?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So maybe that has a lot to do with it too. So we may not know until March, April, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So unless he's really done. If he's really done and he comes out in a couple of weeks, then he ain't gonna pull a Brett Favre. I don't think.
No, I think once he's done, he's done.
Yeah. Rodgers ain't going to Brady us. He's not going to retire and come back 2 months later.
Right.
Yeah. He'll make his decision, and then, like I said, he'll be gone. Will it take him some time to make the decision? Yeah. Who knows what he'll do? Last year, he was doing some weird diet thing where literally you fucking shit and piss out your mouth and ass like every hole you have. The guy is, he's a weird individual, but the hell he can sling it. It's true though. I think the kid, I think he could be done. Yeah. The game was so disappointing, but that game was such a cosmic of what our season was. We couldn't score in the red zone. We turned the ball over. We couldn't protect Aaron at times. Aiden Hutchinson damn near won Rookie of the Year right there on primetime television by keeping the Packers out of the playoffs. He was in Rodgers' lap almost every play. It was exactly what the season went. And I should have known better than get my hopes up, and that's what I told Johnny on the show Sunday. So,
Well, at least you were able to enjoy those last few games because they had some meaning to them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I like what Craig said, though, that the gods punished you because you done buried your team after like week 5 and shit.
I was right, though. I was right. That's the thing. Alan says when Eli Manning has many Super Bowls as Aaron does and Brett Favre. Hey, that happens. Hey, I don't want to. I hate this. I don't know about you guys, but I hate this. I hate this notion that you have to win multiple Super Bowls or you're a failure or this and that. Is it a disappointment that we only got to one? Yes. We had opportunities to get to multiple, been to multiple NFC Championship games. I thought our next best chance to win a Super Bowl and go was the Seattle game when Craig watched me drink 2 fists of Captain Morgan as we blew a lead. I was taking as many shots as we were giving up points. So
that game was like 19-0 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
You lost somehow.
Yeah. So that was a great game. Like that wasn't on Aaron. Like that was on a lot of McCarthy, dumb defense. But I'm not going to take it away. And not everybody's Brett Favre. It's called dynasties for a reason. Or not everybody's Tom Brady. It's called dynasties for a reason. Right. Like there's only one Tom Brady and one Bill Belichick. Like Peyton Manning only won. Are we knocking Peyton Manning because he only won one as a Colt?
I'm a Dolphin fan, bro. You'll say my best quarterback didn't even win a Super Bowl. So I hear you, and I hate those comparisons too, because this is the ultimate team sport. And again, the Brady, Belichick, like I've spoken to Scott, shout out Scott, Cole. It was a great quarterback with a great coach with a horrible division. You know what I'm saying? So they were guaranteed at least 5 wins right off bat. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just a perfect storm for New England over these last 20 years. Yes, Tom Brady was clutch and did what he had to do or whatever when it came down to it. But my opinion, I'm taking Joe Montana, John Elway, Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. It's not just only about championships. Yes, that's unfortunately how they get measured, but there's a lot to go. There's a lot to go into it. Like that 84 team that Dan went to the Super Bowl, it was just Dan Marino. Yeah, he had the 2 wide receivers, but that was it. They had no defense, no running game, and they went up against the 49ers, who were just stacked with Hall of Famers everywhere.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna win that game.
Well, you look at Craig, your team, the 85 Bears. That's the greatest defense ever assembled, and they only got one. You know what I mean? Like that. And they still talk about how great that defense was 30, almost 40 years later.
Right.
And I feel like, that part of that is just the nature of the beast of the NFL, man. It's hard to keep a dynasty together because turnover in the NFL is very rapid. And, to me, whenever you sit here and you say, oh, Aaron, you only got 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, that's not a knock on Aaron Rodgers. That's just more of a knock on the organization because you can, if you watch football with your eyes and you know anything about the sport, you can tell how good Aaron Rodgers is and how good he's been. Let's be honest, in the NFL, there's a very fine line between the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots. And some of that is just the way the ball bounces in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Some of it is just how it goes. And a big part of Tom Brady's success in New England was because Brady always took less money and Brady always had a defense. And Aaron Rodgers lost a lot of playoff games and shootouts against Arizona and
twice,
Atlanta. Yeah. And none of those losses are Aaron Rodgers' fault. So
yeah, and it could be done, and he'll go down as, to me, one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Any way you slice it, one of the greatest throwers of the football of all time. Any way you slice it,
absolutely.
Let's get into.
You just had 30 years, man, of excellent quarterback play, man. Spoiled ass.
Yeah,
I don't know if Brett Favre, if you really look at Brett Favre.
Brett Favre was he was so much fun. He was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick. He did all that underhand shit and all that. He was a gunslinger. He was so much fun to watch.
He was Brett Favre was fun to watch. Mm-hmm. There's a difference in watching a fun guy play and then really if you break it down, he was great.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Who?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got okay.
Sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm over here trying to bash 2 Hall of Fame back-to-back quarterbacks. You guys You guys, Craig, they finally got one, and they're talking about trading them.
Right.
Johnny had one, and now maybe they get one, and his brain is all messed up.
That's the real NFL, though. See, you're just spoiled. The real NFL.
That's what you said, right?
Hard to find a franchise quarterback.
That's why everybody hates on us, because their team ain't had a franchise quarterback for 30 years, 30 plus years, and they're just mad because we had two.
Yep.
Well, it takes more than a quarterback.
And the worst part is that we had the second pick in that draft, and Nick Saban took Ronnie Brown, the running back from Auburn.
Yeah.
Good job, Nick Saban. Good job. Appreciate you, bro.
I mean, Cadillac Williams was in that draft. That whole draft. I mean, a lot of guys.
Yeah, but Aaron, we needed a quarterback, and there was a quarterback sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Literally sitting there to the 20-something pick. Like, come on, man.
Could have had Drew Brees.
He's probably, he's probably still a Hall of Famer, but if Aaron Rodgers, let's say he gets picked number 2 overall in that draft.
With Nick Saban?
Does he carry the same chip? Does he carry the same chip, though?
No, he doesn't. Not the same chip, but I think he's still going to be a great player, and then he'd have a great coach. I don't know. Does Brady and Belichick get that?
Saban wasn't a great
quarterback.
NFL coach
because he didn't have a quarterback, and he knew it. He knew he messed up by not picking a quarterback, and he knew he messed up by picking Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. So he bounced.
Yeah. Hey, there you go, Alan. There's your answer to your question. They did choose Dante Culpepper.
Still, yes. I don't need to relive that shit. Yes, but it seems that we could have drafted Drew Brees, and Dave Wanstead took a freaking linebacker that I can't even remember his name, bro. He was like out of the league in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't draft him, and then we didn't.
Well, Brees went in the second round. A lot of teams could have drafted Drew Brees.
Yes, like we passed him twice. I remember that draft.
Let's get into some of these firings. You got to have a good quarterback. You got to have a good coach, and there's about 5 teams now looking for new coaches. First, let me ask you guys this: was there a coach that hasn't been fired yet that you're surprised that hasn't been? Because it wasn't really Black Monday like we thought. Now, I know there's a lot more firings during the regular season. Some of those happened even late Sunday. But, Craig, is there anybody that you're surprised still has a job?
I mean, no. Cliff was obvious on the list. I thought he was gone. I think we're still waiting to see what the Chargers do here in the playoffs before we call Daly safe.
Mike McCarthy, you could add that to the list too.
Yeah, very well. Add Mike McCarthy. I mean, what's going on in Indy? I mean, Jeff Saturday ain't the guy, so they're searching, right?
Yeah.
Houston's looking for a coach. I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like
does Todd Bowles keep his job if Brady leaves?
Yeah.
If they're one and done, you think he keeps his job?
Yeah, he keeps his job.
I'm not guaranteeing.
I don't know, man.
If they go get blown out by Dallas and they're under 500, get blown out by Dallas, Brady retires. I mean,
does he want to keep that job? That's the more important question, right? Like, if Brady leaves, what do they? I mean, they would have to. We can talk at the quarterback carousel at the end because there's so many quarterbacks that we need to get to. To talk about. We'll talk about that on a different show. But would he even want to?
Right. I don't know.
I mean, they're blowing it up though, right? Like when Brady leaves, I mean, that thing's probably getting blown apart, right?
I don't know. I mean, they still got Mike Evans, still got Chris Godwin, still got that defense was hurt a lot, and that defense that defense that won that Super Bowl.
And they're young too. They're young on that defense. I mean, Lavonte David's getting a little longer too, but
they still got Winfield Jr.
Right.
They still got a squad.
I mean, they still got some good young defensive players there. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Derek Carr going down there after this season. So I don't know that they totally blow it up, but I totally agree with you with the whole Staley. If Staley's one and done, I think he might get fired with the Chargers, man. Or at least Rob is hoping.
The Chargers are a possibility. Depends on how they lose. Cowboys depends on how they lose. I was going to say I was surprised Ron Rivera still had a job.
That is very true.
That's a good.
They fired their
good.
OC, but I think that Ron probably should have. Once you start firing coordinators, that you're probably next in line. Ron's got to they got to make the playoffs next year, or I think he's gone.
I mean, I'm not even sure he's. I don't know. How's he?
They
not
ain't
gone?
fired him yet. Were they going to fire him now? There's no, you know what I mean?
know.
Like,
I think it might have been
he's the
you.
only one that I thought of that I thought he should be fired. I think it was you. I think it was you, Craig. Oh, he was frozen. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I think that it was you that I was talking to the other day after Ron Rivera, when they asked him about being eliminated from the playoffs, and he was like, "Oh, we could be eliminated." Like I told you, to me, that's like there's the drive to left field, by Castellanos. It's a 4-0 game. I'm signing off. Like that's it. Like how do you take it back from that?
Exactly. There's a long drive to left field. It's a home run for Nick Castellanos.
Oh my!
I thought, and then I think it was you who told me Ron Rivera's only had 3 winning seasons as a head coach.
Yeah. So a friend of ours told me that. He said Ron Rivera's been head coach for 12 years in the NFL. How many winning seasons does he have? I said I'm gonna guess 6. He said 3. I was like, no way. I had to look it up, man. And yeah, 3.
One of them was a Super Bowl.
One of them, yeah, but one of them was, on Cam Newton's coattails, basically.
I was say, yeah, Cam went nuts that year, bro.
He was the MVP.
Right. Wow. I did.
So let's let's just kind of figure out who you guys think. So let's start with the Colts. Who's the good fit there for the Colts? Do you guys think?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, half of these
jobs. That's probably the hardest one right there. That's probably the hardest one.
They got to blow that thing up.
Get filled by coordinators, but Irsay's,
who knows, right? Who knows what he does?
He's a loose cannon.
Is there any chance that he actually brings Saturday back?
Yeah, they interviewed him. They interviewed him.
That's crazy, bro.
I don't think the GM. I don't think their GM wants him. I think their GM. They interviewed Eric Bieniemy. They've interviewed the Lions OC is a hot coordinator. Who else? The Eagles OC. There's been a couple guys. What about the job in Denver? Alan mentioned Dan Quinn. I think he's very high on Denver. They were going to go with him last year. They need a coach. The Texans. That's the number one. Who wants the Texans job? You don't have a franchise quarterback. You do have the number 2 pick, but we've already seen
they got draft picks though, because they got the 2 and they got Cleveland's pick.
Yeah, but you've seen their GM fire your back-to-back years on different coaches on 1-year deals.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy that they wound up doing that twice. You know what I'm saying? Basically, just they knew they were going to have a bad season. Just had a coach basically just, dead man walking for a season, and then got rid of him, man.
And then got rid of another one.
Right.
Lovey's respectable.
I think it was kind of known, right? I think that's why Lovey did what he did. I said last week at the end of the show, man, I need Lovey to give us some love and get Chicago the number 1 pick. And man, he did it, and not in the way that I thought. I thought, man, maybe the Texans can just pull out a win against a really bad Colts team. But no, they were down, and they played for the win, and then they went to game 2. Like we don't even want the number 1 pick. We want to give it away,
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what you're supposed to do. You get paid to win games. The only person that really is looking at that is the GM and the owner. As a coach and a player, you know what I mean? Your job is to win every game. Like, and they did their job. You know what I'm saying? And Lovey just got, hey.
It's all good. He can go to South Beach and be the DC for Miami, yo. We need a defensive coordinator down there.
Yeah, too bad B-Flow can't go back, because that would be a perfect fit down there. But I don't think the owner's going to hire the guy that's suing his ass.
Right. Nah. But yeah, I'll take Lovey or Todd Bowles, man. Todd Bowles got Miami connections too. Like I said, I don't think he stays with the Bucs. I don't think the Bucs keep him. I think they bring in, you know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna try to persuade Sean Payton to go down to Tampa, yo. no taxes. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna try that.
I think let's just talk Sean Payton, and we'll get into the playoff matchups. I think Arizona's the best fit for him. They got the quarterback in Kyler. If they can get Sean Payton, I think D-Hop will stay because there's reports that he wants to be traded if this team's going to just tank. Greg, what's your thoughts here on where Sean Payton should go?
And for a while now, I've been just thinking that the way this is all going to play out is Mike McCarthy's going to lose in the playoffs, get fired in Dallas, and that's where Sean Payton's going to go. But there's a lot of people talking about the Chargers, man. If that job opens up, that Sean Payton would be like top on their list, man. And with all the talent that they got on both sides of the ball, Sean Payton and Vic Fangio going together to the Chargers, man, I just feel like they would be tough.
That was the last time I heard Khalil Mack's name, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like when he was in Vic Fangio's defense.
Yeah, and I mean Vic Fangio's defense has been proven everywhere he's went, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, what's your thoughts here on?
I always thought it was going to be Dallas as soon as he retired from the Saints. I always assumed he was going to go to Dallas. So I mean, I'm still leaning that way because I just think the Chargers, they just got too much talent, man. I think they're going to beat the Jags. They're going to move on. Staley's going to keep his job, and they're going to miss out on Sean Payton because that's what the Chargers do. And then they're going to just have to go with some other young coordinator as their head coach or whatever. But I don't know. Dallas just makes too much sense. Unless Dallas goes on a run, I don't see McCarthy keeping his job. I hear you on the Dan Quinn thing, but if Jerry Jones can have Sean Payton, he's taking Sean Payton.
Yeah, I think Dan Quinn. I think Denver's gonna try and slide in and take Dan Quinn.
They want Sean Payton. I've heard Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he's another wild card. I don't care. Somebody asked me if he put out a statement. I said that statement don't mean shit. Coaches put out statements all the time. Nick Saban lied right on Monday Night Football and said he wasn't taking the Alabama job and still took the Alabama job.
And like doubled and tripled down. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I am not going to Alabama. And
where is he at right now?
It's like 2 days later, he was gone.
Yeah. So again, like those statements, money talks, folks. Hey, they're gonna go wherever the money goes, wherever I can go make the most money.
That statement might be out, but if he's meeting with teams, then I mean, you're 100% right. That statement don't mean shit.
No, that is even if he put the statement out
last year. He met with teams last year. You know what I'm saying? And then Michigan showed him the money, so he stood in Michigan.
And they said Minnesota, I mean, he was going to take that job, and then Minnesota actually kind of had him second in line because they really liked O'Connell.
KOC, yeah. Yeah, I could see Harbaugh in Denver. I could really see him in Indy because he's got ties there. So, you know, one of those two places.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. His Indy connection. Yep. He's gonna have to start that from the ground up. You got Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you might get a quarterback. I mean, you know, you might get Bryce Young. That might be kind of one of your selling points.
Is he gonna is he gonna want to deal with a young quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see what happens with all these coaches, man. And then like we were just saying, there's two playoff teams that can lose their coach possibly depending on what happens this weekend. So it's crazy to see what happens, man. It's gonna be fun.
Let's get into the playoffs here. Let's start breaking these matchups down and make some picks, boys. Let's start with Saturday's game. You got Seattle snuck. Obviously, I wouldn't really say they snuck in, but they got in due to the Packers losing to the Lions. They're all Lions fans. They are head to the 49ers, so I think it's the best team in the NFC right now. Brock Purdy and all. The line here is San Francisco -9.5. Craig, who you like here? Niners, who've got that defense humming, or you like the Seahawks here at 9.5 is a high spread.
Yeah, 9.5 is a high spread. Money line, I'm taking San Francisco. Even though, they beat Seattle twice this year, it's tough to
Beat
beat
them
a team
bad both times.
Right. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. I seen a stat that San Francisco was the last team to beat a team twice in the playoffs and then play them in the regular season and then play them in the playoffs, which was the Rams, and then they lost that playoff matchup. But I don't think it's the same story this week. I think San Francisco wins, but being a playoff game, man, 9.5 points, I'm going to take Seattle to cover.
Yeah, they just played Johnny. They just played them a couple weeks ago. It was 21-13. That game was in Seattle. And then I think they played them all the way in week 2. That was 27-7. Every one of these playoff matchups happened in the regular season. Some of them twice, some of them some of them once. So third time's a charm here, Johnny, for the Seahawks.
Nah. So I think San Francisco wins the game. I mean, it's a nice story for the Seahawks making the playoffs when nobody was picking Seattle to make the playoffs. Good for Geno Smith. He probably made himself a lot of money. But I'm with Craig. I think they'll keep it close. It's a division game. The third time you're meeting them, it's the playoffs. I mean, I know Brock Purdy has played well, but the playoffs is a totally different animal. And Pete Carroll's a pretty good coach, so maybe he comes up with something, to at least keep it close. So not 9 points is a lot of points. Is a lot. So I'll take Seattle to cover, but I'll take San Francisco to win the game.
Yeah, I think I'm a little nervous because playoff jitters, right, for the rookie. I know, like Johnny said, Brock Purdy's been playing his ass off, but because he's got a lot of talent around him. But I love the 49ers money line for sure. That's probably the main lock to me. The number one lock on the NFC side is 49ers over the Seahawks. But at 9.5, I'm with you boys. We're all in on Seattle at plus 9.5. I'll take Seattle as well. What's the key here, Craig? Let's kind of break it down just a little further. What's the key to victory? Give me the key to victory here for the 49ers.
I mean, I think just do what they do, man. Play smart football, take care of the football, and they don't need too much out of Brock Purdy. The defense plays great, so they don't need a ton out of the offense, man. Just play 49er football, man, and I think that's going to take them a long way. Johnny,
on the flip side, what's Seattle got to do to kind of pull out the upset?
They got to be able to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Kenneth Walker and company, they have to be able to run the ball. They have to shorten the game. They need to come up with a turnover, either get the kid to throw a pick or a strip sack, some type of fumble or something. They're going to need a big play. Maybe special teams makes a big play. They're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with San Francisco. So if they can establish a running game and maybe get a turnover or two, they might have a chance. But, I mean, who knows? Geno Smith may go nuts. They got DK Metcalf. I mean, is Tyler Lockett out or is he playing?
No, I think he's playing.
So I mean, they got some players there, and I really like Kenneth Walker. So if they can establish a running game, like I said, Pete Carroll's a really good coach. So if they can get a turnover or two, that's big, man.
If Seattle can get, I think they're going to have to get 10 or 14 off of turnovers or special teams.
Right.
If they can get a pick six or even, what I mean? If they get the turnovers and that leads to points,
right.
That's what they'll have. They'll have to do that at least twice. They're going to have to get 14, I think, to have a chance in this game. I don't think it happens. I'm with Craig. I think just CMC and just, hey, Brock Purdy, do your thing. That defense, that defense can force Geno into a couple turnovers, and it's going to get ugly. It could get ugly quick.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get into the second game on Saturday. It's a pick'em game, Johnny. The Chargers head to Jacksonville, -1.5. The Jags beat the brakes off of the Chargers earlier this year. It was, I believe that was week 3. It was 38-10. That's when everybody started jumping on the Jags bandwagon. Here they are, get to host the playoff game, in which, again, nobody saw this team hosting a playoff game, Jacksonville, and now they're hosting the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game here. I love the Trevor Lawrence Justin Herbert matchup. First time for the playoffs for both guys. Like I really want to go Jags because of Doug Peterson, but something tells me that saying that Justin Herbert is gonna save Staley's job, because I think the wide receivers are healthy, the offensive line is getting
Mike Williams
healthier.
is banged up, though. I mean, he's got that back problem.
Yeah, but he's still gonna play, so he's a threat out there. Keenan Allen is one of the best route runners. Austin Eckler's a stud back there. I don't know. I think the Chargers are just going to be a bit too much. I think Doug Peterson's going to have the Jags ready to play. Like I said, I really want to pick the Jags here, but I think Justin Herbert. I think he's gonna show that he's one of the top quarterbacks, and he's gonna ball out.
Craig, who you like here in the Herbert Lawrence matchup? Allen says he likes the Jags 27-24 over the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny, man. I really want to take the Jaguars because of coaching, but I just feel like the Chargers have just got a little bit more, man. They've just got the pieces, and I feel like when it comes down to it, I think Trevor Lawrence is probably more prone to make a mistake that's going to cost his team than what Justin Herbert is. Justin Herbert's a little more seasoned at this point. I do think the Jaguars are kind of offensively, they're somewhat like the Chargers light. I mean, ETN is, similar to Eckler. The way they play offense is kind of similar. I just think the Chargers are kind of a step ahead. And I like the idea of a potential second round Chargers-Chiefs facing them for the third time matchup. So I'm gonna take the Chargers to, like Johnny said, probably save Staley's job.
If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm praying the Jags beat the Chargers, because I think the Chiefs could blow out the Jags, but I think if playing the Chargers for a third time would be real trouble, because they've seen you and they're not scared of you, and they match up well with the Chiefs. But do they? I don't think the Jags have got that experience yet against a elite team like the Chiefs. So if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm praying the Chargers win. So Tanner's probably praying that the Jags win on Saturday. I'm with you guys. I'm right there with you. Give me the Chargers. I think it's a close game. I think it always seems it maybe just me, but is it not always? You always get 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, and it's always like one's a real blowout, and then the other one's always a real close game. So I think the 49ers game, it could be a blowout, even though we just all took the Seattle plus 10, but it could still be a blowout. Where I think this game is a last-second type field goal thing, and Justin Herbert gets it done. Give me the Chargers. I think it's like a 24-21 type game, a last-second field goal for the Chargers. Craig, what's the keys here? We'll go to you here first. What's the keys for the Chargers to win this one?
I think, a lot of times in these playoff games, the difference is going to be turnovers, man. But I think in this game, specifically with the Chargers, it is just not being too cute, man. Their coach just likes to try to, take too many risks. Don't try to take too many risks too early. There's certain times in a playoff game, especially, where you take those 3 points. And I think that's going to be pretty important in a game like this. Because I agree with you, man. I think this one's going to come down to the wire in the fourth quarter. So 3 points that you might leave on the field in the first quarter could cost you the game in the fourth.
Hey, that's exactly right. And that could cost. Hey, Johnny, on the flip side, what's the keys to the Jags to win this one at home?
It's similar to what Craig said. It's always about turnovers, especially in the playoffs. But I think the Jags have to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to try to keep Justin Field on the sideline a little bit. Not saying that Trevor Lawrence just has to manage the game, but he definitely needs to, don't make any critical mistakes. But if ETN and them, if they can get a running game going, they've got a good, young, fast defense. So if they can eat up some clock running the ball, and you got to score touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that doesn't mean go for it on fourth down every time, but when you get in that red zone, you got to score touchdowns. And I think that, like I said, I want to pick the Jags. I think it's going to be really close. I just think Justin Herbert's going to make a couple more plays to win the game for them. But if they can establish the running game, because the Chargers can get run on easily. So ETN could have 150 plus in this game, and they could win a lower scoring game, a 24-17 type game or something like that. But they definitely can't turn the ball over, and they got to establish a running game.
Yeah, let's get into the next game. Your Dolphins, Johnny, head to Buffalo. They are 13.5 dogs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think that's even high enough. I think this could be a Georgia TCU type situation. Come on Sunday.
That's definitely a possibility. Unfortunately, I can't front about it. I got to be real. You know what I'm saying? It's Skylar Thompson. He's a 7th round pick, and it's, get over yourselves, Dolphin fans. It is nothing like the San Francisco situation because we do not have the team that San Francisco has. So stop thinking that way. It could get ugly. But this is one of those, you know what I'm saying? Okay, boy genius, Mike McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? This is your third time seeing this team. Both games, we won the first one on a tight one. We should have won that second game if you would have kept running the damn football. So what do you come up with here? It sucks that Raheem Mostert, has the injury to his hand because he ran all over Buffalo the last game. But if we could, that's possible, Alan. You don't need to, you don't need to shout it out, though.
That's exactly what I think. 34-10, something like that.
You know what I'm saying? If we can run the ball and get the ball into the playmakers' hands, we might be able to keep it close. But I don't see us winning this game, not at all. And if I was a betting person, I would definitely take Buffalo and those points.
Craig, DeMar Hamlin's out of the hospital. He's going to run that team onto the field on Sunday, and then you might as well just forget it, right, Craig? I mean, 13.5. You like the Bills or the Dolphins here?
So I definitely like the Bills to win the game. But it feels like a trap, man, on the bet. I almost want to take Miami. It's a playoff game. DeMar Hamlin is out of the hospital. I don't know if they've said or not if he's going to make an appearance at the game, but I'm guessing that he probably is. There's going to be a lot of emotion involved. We'll see how that plays out, man. I mean, I feel like Buffalo could come out a little bit flat. I think everybody, maybe including Buffalo, is kind of just looking past Miami. Mm-hmm. Tua's out. But I think Johnny nailed it, man. I mean, Mike McDaniel, there's all this talk about how you're this crafty genius. I think you're going to see a couple plays that you probably haven't seen out of Miami all year where they're going to find ways to get the ball to Tyree, get the ball to Jalen Waddle, get the ball to playmakers. I mean, I think they lose by, I'm going to say 10 to 12. But I'll take them to cover the 13.5.
Johnny, did you take Miami? You taking Miami at 13?
Hell no.
No, you taking the Bills?
I mean, I got to be real, bro. You know what I'm saying? I love my team and the whole shit, but come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm hoping they represent themselves well, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm hoping Mike McDaniel comes up with a good game plan and at least makes it competitive. Cover the spread. You know what I mean? Don't get destroyed 40-something to 10. You know what I'm saying? Don't. You know what I'm saying? Because there's still a possibility you can lose it. You know what I'm saying? Go over there, go to Buffalo and get your ass whooped, something horrific like that.
Like a man.
He could possibly get fired. You know what I'm saying? So he has to come up with something. Like I said, he had a good game plan both times against Buffalo. He
only scored 6 points against the 9 points. What was it, 6-9 or some shit like that?
It was 11-6. Well, the Jets got a top defense as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. We ran the ball well against Buffalo. I think we can run the ball well again. But again, you got a rookie quarterback. It could get ugly early. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, hopefully they just represent themselves well and don't get blown out.
I'd have loved to see this game with Tua, but unfortunately we're not getting it.
Oh yes.
I think DeMar Hamlin's leading that team on, and it's just going to be absolutely insane.
I mean, even if he's up in a suite,
yeah,
that building's going to be rocking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know health wise if he's running them out on the field, But
you
even
tell
if
me
they
he
just
can't
show
walk?
her,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying to run him out on the field after having a heart thing. I mean, maybe they tell him, don't. But if he's if they show him in the jumbotron and he's in the owner's suite watching the game, I mean that building's gonna be shaking, bro. So just him being there will be enough for to move it. But like Craig said, they could come out flat because they could be looking past the Dolphins already. So you never know. But Josh Allen ain't gonna let them lose, man.
Give me the Bills by about 20. I like the Bills. Here's the keys for the Dolphins. Hey, trip Josh Allen before he goes into the game. Hope he blows out his hamstring or something. That's about the only way that I think the Bills are losing this game. Give me the Bills. Craig's on Dolphin Island by himself. With no need to get into the keys because I think I don't really think they got a chance. I could be wrong. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, Josh Allen could go out there and get hurt the first play of the game, and then it really is a fair easy. You know what I mean? Then we're back to square one. So,
yeah. Well, let's not hope that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that kid to get hurt.
Me
you know
neither.
What I'm saying? I would. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, let's see what Mike McDaniel can come up with, man. But yeah, I don't see there's no keys. You know what I'm saying? Just you better fight and play as hard as possible and not make any turnovers. And like I said, try not to get blown out.
Greg, who you like in the next one? Giants headed to Minnesota. Minnesota just 3-point favorites at home.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one, man, because I really feel like the Giants can win this game. At some point, Minnesota's going to lose. I believe that with everything in me. It might be the second round, but there's a dang good chance.
Might be the Super Bowl. Who knows the way they play?
Right. I mean, and it depends how things shake out, because if they win and San Fran wins, then they're playing next round, and I think that's the end of the road for Minnesota if they get past the Giants here. But the Giants is going to be a tough game for them. To me, the difference here, I'm gonna take Minnesota, and I'm gonna give it with the home field. I'm gonna say Minnesota being at home. I'm gonna give it to them. I think the Giants' offense can score points against Minnesota's defense. Minnesota's defense hasn't looked very, very good. And I think that if they can get pressure on Kirk Cousins, you never know when that offense is going to just come out there and lay a turd. We've seen them do it a couple times this year, but I do think here, first round of the playoffs at home, big Justin Jefferson game, big Dalvin Cook game. I feel like Minnesota finds a way to win.
Johnny?
I'm going with the New York Football Giants, yo. The Vikings have been frauds to me all season long, and your Green Bay Packers embarrassed them. Took them out to the woodshed, and you had your boy Alexander doing the gritty on fucking Justin Jefferson. So I think they're going to come up with a good defensive game plan to put some pressure on Kirk Cousins. They're going to have the safety over on Justin Jefferson. And I think the Giants win this game. They're going to put up points because Minnesota defense is not good. So I like the Giants pulling out the upset here, man.
I'm right there with you, Johnny. I think Kirk Cousins, it's primetime Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's not a primetime late slot, but he's the only game on, and that's what what that spells. I like the Giants here. I think to me, the key to this game, the quarterbacks, who doesn't turn the ball over, because, and I know you could say that about every game, but both these quarterbacks are primed to turn the ball over. So I think if Daniel Jones can take care of the ball, give it to Saquon. Richie James is come on lately as a wide receiver for that team. So I like that. I like the Giants. You're giving me +3. I like the Giants money line and the upset. The scary thing about Minnesota is they could very easily lose this game. But then again, like I said, they're a team that could really if they made the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised either because they somehow sneak out all these close victories.
You've been saying it all year. What they got up their ass?
Horseshoe up their ass, my friend. And hopefully it falls out on Sunday. I like the Giants at +3, baby. Give me the Giants.
It's going to be interesting to see, man.
You guys kind of gave the keys on how each team is going to win. We'll get into the last Sunday night game. It's the Ravens headed to the Bengals. Johnny, no Lamar. He kind of updated on his IG, said, hey, my knee's not 100%, no go. Looks like it's back to Tyler Huntley for the Ravens, and they play the Bengals. Cincinnati, 9.5 favorite.
That's the only thing that I'm hesitant on is the 9.5 points. I absolutely think Cincinnati wins this game, even if Lamar was playing healthy. I think Cincinnati wins this game. It's a divisional game. It's the Ravens, and that defense is playing well. Roquan was talking about a great pickup for Baltimore. I think they might keep it close. They're gonna want to run the ball. I mean, 9.5 is a lot, but you know what? I don't like Baltimore at all, man. I'm not a fan of John Harbaugh. I'm not a fan of the Baltimore Ravens. It seems like they always beat down on my Dolphins. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Cincinnati whips that ass. I'm gonna take
Greg Allen
Cincinnati
saying
and the points, man.
28-13. This game just happened last week. It was 27-16. Now it wasn't Huntley at quarterback, it was their third stringer, but I mean Huntley's not a whole lot better than that.
No. Yeah, I mean, this one's tough too. I like Cincinnati to win the game. Like you just said, we just saw these two teams play last week. The only thing I worry about a little bit on this spread, it's 9.5 points, and I kind of want to take the Ravens. I mean, I think one of two things are going to happen. Cincinnati's going to come out, they're going to absolutely drug the Ravens by 20 points because they're pissed off and they want to play the Bills. Or they're pissed off and they want to play the Bills and they're looking kind of past this Lamar-less Ravens team that they've already beat.
Joe Burrow looks past nobody.
Well, you say that, but how many times have the Bengals found themselves in real close games in the fourth quarter? Probably closer than they should have been. And then Joe Burrow, they end up pulling them out and winning them. I think Harbaugh's got a lot of playoff experience. That Ravens defense has gotten better, as the season has gone on. And last week, the Ravens had nothing to play for, so all their guys weren't out there playing. So I'm going to take the Bengals money line, but I'm going to take Baltimore to cover. And I'll sit out on this island because, I mean, we know you're not betting against the dang
Bengals. See, Craig is using logic and shit. I'm not. I'm just hoping Cincinnati.
You got to take the emotion out of it, Johnny. You got to take the emotion
I know. It's all good.
That's the guy who picks emotion all the time. Hey, Craig just nailed it. You know who I'm picking. I'm riding with the Bengals. We just saw this a week ago. Bengals are pissed off. I loved the celebration last week. Joe Mixon gets in the end zone, gets a quarter out of his pocket or his glove, flips it, and it's pretty much a big FU to the NFL. If there's nothing that gets your team, riled together, it's a big, hey, F everybody besides everybody in this locker room. And they're just going to go out there and they're going to drub the Ravens. Give me the Bengals. 9.5 seems high, but I like it with no Lamar. The Ravens can't score. They barely scored 20 points since Lamar left.
Right. And the Bengals D has actually been playing pretty good. So
very underrated.
Mm-hmm. I just think, like you said though, too. I think Cincinnati's. I think they're pissed off and they want something to prove. They definitely want a piece of Buffalo next week. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man.
That matchup is just. I mean, it's the energy of the pissed off Bengals meets the energy that the Bills are riding. I mean, man, that's going to be a lot of fun, man. I hope those two teams win.
Yeah. And I'm a Dolphin fan, and I'm saying that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that matchup. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Joe Burrow against Josh Allen. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah. No, same. Let's get into the last one. The last Monday night game. It's Tom Brady and the 8-9 Bucks hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the favorite here at -2.5. Johnny, who you like on the final wild card weekend game?
Dude, I've lost every bet that I've ever gone against Tom Brady in the last 20-something years, bro. And wouldn't it be Tom Brady-esque to beat America's team and you know what I'm saying, and at least advance to the next round and then get their asses whipped in the next round. But I mean, Dallas has to win the game, don't they? Like, they have to win this game. So I'm gonna go with Dallas. Not very confident about it at all. Again, it's Tom Brady. I mean, Dallas has to. You better win this game, Dallas. They have to win this game. I'm gonna go with Dallas, but like I said, not with no kind of confidence at all. Jeez.
Brady 7-0 against the boys, Craig. Does he get it done again?
Yeah, man, Brady's never lost to Dallas. I mean, you know what? If there's a few things that I've learned in my life, you don't bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs, and you don't bet for Dallas in the playoffs, because neither one of those things has really worked out well in probably the past 10 years. Dallas is the better team, right? I mean, Dallas should win this game, but I mean, when the Monday Night Football game is over, Joe Rogan's going to be at midfield. Tom Brady's going to be a surprise, motherfuckers. I'm back. The king is back. Because the Bucks are going to beat the Cowboys. Man, I'm taking the Bucks. This is where, I mean, Dallas loses. Mike McCarthy gets fired. The Sean Payton rumors to Dallas start coming in. I mean,
that does make a lot of sense.
Speaking of Sean Payton, just a quick update. I just read Denver is the favorite to right now for the Sean Payton sweepstakes.
Alan's against his own team, picking against his own team.
23-17 in overtime.
Wow.
I'm kind of – here's the thing is Tampa Bay's run defense is really good. It's hard to run on that team. And we know that the Cowboys, when they're going, they run the ball both with either Pollard and Zeke. And if they can't get going, Dak has not played great. He's had interceptions last 5 games. Might be even more than that. I think I read a stat, but I know it's for sure 5. I'm leaning towards the Bucks here. I've written this team off too here a couple times, but somehow Tom Brady just quite gets it done one last time in Tampa Bay here.
You almost got me wanting to switch, bro, for real.
Oh, Alan did chime in here one last time. He said the last 7 games. So Dak has thrown a pick his last 7 games.
What? For real?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Dallas.
I'm gonna take the Bucks one last time. Tom gets it done one last time in the playoffs. I don't see him beating winning the next round, because I guess it would be the Giants. By my logic, would face the Eagles, and then the Bucks would face
the Niners.
The Niners. Yeah. I'd still take the Niners in that situation.
Yeah, I was watching PTI, and they didn't throw the exact stats out, but Tony Kornheiser was on there today, and he had the numbers. And basically, when Tom Brady gets good protection, he's the top 5 quarterback in the league still. And when he doesn't, he's bottom 7. So, I mean, if they want to beat Dallas, man, double team Micah Parsons the entire day. That's the thing. But
don't let him kill our quarterback.
Right. But if Tampa can get past Dallas, I mean, that San Fran defense is probably just too much for them.
Yeah, I'm going to hammer the Cowboys. I'm going to hammer the Bucks. This is really a toss-up game to me. I'm going to give it to the Bucks. Tom Brady gets it done one last time.
Does he retire after the season?
I think so.
Hey, same, Alan. Same, Alan. I'm
not. We all on that same drunken boat with you, Alan, bro. It's all good.
Hey, before we get out of here, Johnny, give me one player that we should all keep an eye on for this weekend. One key player. Give us key player for the weekend.
I think we were just talking about it, bro. I think Micah Parsons is going to go nuts in this game. That Tampa offensive line is not good at all. That's why Brady hasn't been good. So I think he gets a couple sacks, maybe a strip, and I think him and the defense lead Dallas to that victory there.
Craig, what about you? One key player here?
Since I'm out on Vikings Island and I picked the Vikings based on a big Justin Jefferson day, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson. I think if the Giants can find a way to slow him down and make him have just a normal game, then I think they got a real shot to win. But I think if Justin Jefferson has a 9 or more catch day for 150 yards and a touchdown or two, I think that's just going to be too much for the Giants to overcome.
Yeah, my key player for the
Don't say Joe Burrow. Don't say Joe Burrow.
No, I was going to say Brock Purdy or Brock Purdy / Geno Smith. I think Brock Purdy, he's got to come out and continue to play well in his first big playoff matchup on prime time. I think that'll be the key for the 49ers. Get him some confidence, keep him playing well. So I was going to say Brock Purdy, and then you could say Kirk Cousins too, because Kurt's got to play well for Minnesota to get that upset win that Craig's talking about. All right, Johnny, you got anything going on the rest of this week before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll be doing possibly the last episode of Let's Talk Miami Dolphins tomorrow as I preview that Bills game. It's not going to be a long show, but yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that game and my thoughts on what's gonna go on this offseason and Tua and. Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Dolphins, so I'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow night.
All right, boys. Well, we're going to get out of here. Craig, you got any last and final thoughts before we get out of here?
No. Hopefully see you boys next week.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're going to continue on with the shows from what I understand, right? Even after football?
Yep.
Every Thursday, we'll talk more about just the football as time goes, but, we're breaking down playoff matchups and everything else next Thursday. I'll be back on Sunday. I got the Just Fans, folks. Set the mood for Just Fans coming in. A couple Texan boys going to be joining me. We're going to talk all things Texans and Houston as well on Sunday night. Me and John will be on the Sunday morning pregame show as well. Here on Let's Talk Sports and the Bodkins Show channel. So we appreciate it. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Hit that subscribe button, hit the share button. You guys know what to do. We will see you next time, which will be Sunday night, hopefully. So we'll see you then. Everybody enjoy the nice wild card weekend. I'm going to hit that outro right meow.